A long time ago, in a peaceful little village, surrounded by green hills and golden meadows, there lived a young man named Daniel and his wife Grace. They weren't rich or poor, just simple people who worked hard every single day. Daniel spent his mornings out in the fields with his tools, while Grace baked bread, tended to their small garden, and looked after their home. They loved each other deeply, but both carried a quiet sadness, a feeling that life was slipping away too fast. Every night, they'd talk about the things they wanted to do someday. One day, when we've saved enough, Daniel would say, "We'll finally live the life we dream about." But somehow, that one day never came. One warm afternoon, as the sun dipped low in the sky, Daniel and Grace went for a walk along the river that wound its way through the valley. There, sitting beneath a wide old oak tree, was old Thomas, the village elder. Everyone knew Thomas. His hair was white as snow, his hands rough from years of work, and his eyes gentle but full of wisdom. Children loved listening to his stories, and adults came to him when life became too heavy to carry alone. Daniel had passed him many times before, but never stopped to talk. For some reason, that evening, he did. "Good evening, Thomas," Daniel said, tipping his hat. "Good evening, my boy," the old man replied with a smile. "You look like you've got the whole world sitting on your shoulders." Daniel gave a small laugh. "It's just life, I suppose. Grace and I work hard every day, hoping things will get better. We have dreams, we want to travel, see the mountains, maybe start something of our own. But there's always work, always something to wait for." Grace nodded quietly. "We keep saying we'll live later, when we have more time, when life settles down." Thomas chuckled softly and looked out toward the river. "Ah, that word. Later," he said, "it has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. Sit down, both of you. Let me tell you something about waiting." Daniel and Grace sat beside him. The air was still and warm, and the sound of the river filled the silence. Thomas picked up a small stone, turning it in his hand. "When I was young," he began, "I loved a woman named Clara. She was full of life, always laughing, always kind. I wanted to marry her, but I kept waiting until I had more money, until I was ready, until everything was just right. By the time I finally gathered the courage to ask her, she was gone, married to another man. Not because she stopped caring, but because I waited too long. You see, Daniel, regret doesn't come from failing. It comes from not trying." Daniel lowered his eyes as Thomas continued. "Then there was my father," the old man said, his voice softer now. "We argued often when I was younger. I always thought I'd make peace with him later. But one winter, he got sick. Before I could reach him, he passed away. I never got to say the words I'd kept inside for years. And let me tell you, that silence, that waiting, it hurts far more than any argument ever could." Thomas tossed the stone into the river and watched the ripples spread. "Do you see that river?" he asked. "It never stops moving. It doesn't wait for anyone. That's what life is. It flows, whether we move with it or not. The mistake we humans make is thinking we can stand still while the world waits for us. But it doesn't. It just keeps going." Grace's eyes glistened. "But what do we do, Thomas?" she asked quietly. "We can't just drop everything. We have responsibilities." Thomas smiled kindly. "My dear, living fully doesn't mean running away from life. It means being alive in it. Enjoy the little things. Share a laugh, say kind words, while people can still hear them. Visit your parents now, not later. Tell the people you love that you love them. Don't wait for a perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The perfect time is now." Daniel sat in silence, watching the sunlight dance on the water. He thought about all the times he'd put things off. Dinners with friends he never attended, letters to his mother he never sent, dreams he promised himself he'd chase someday. For the first time, he realized he'd been living on pause, waiting for life to begin. "Thomas," he said softly, "do you ever wish you could go back?" The old man smiled. "No," he said, "because every mistake, every delay, taught me what truly matters: to live with open hands and an open heart. To forgive quickly, love deeply, and never wait to be happy. The real tragedy isn't dying, it's never truly living." That evening, Daniel and Grace walked home in silence. The sky was painted orange and red, and the air smelled of rain. They didn't say much, but something had changed. The next morning, instead of rushing to work, they woke early just to watch the sunrise together. They laughed, they talked, and they realized how many little moments they'd missed while waiting for some day. From that day on, Daniel still worked hard, but with joy in his heart. He noticed the wind in the trees, the warmth of Grace's smile, the taste of fresh bread. Life hadn't suddenly become easier, it had become richer. Every week, they visited the old oak tree with bread and tea for Thomas. They listened to his stories, learned from his wisdom, and passed his lessons to others. Years later, when Thomas passed away, Daniel stood by the river where they had once talked. He didn't cry from sadness, but from gratitude. He finally understood what Thomas meant. Life isn't about waiting for perfect days. It's about finding beauty in the ordinary ones. He whispered, "Thank you, old friend," and turned back toward home. Grace was waiting for him at the door, smiling as always. And in that simple moment, Daniel knew he was living the life he once only dreamed of. So, my friend, if you're watching this right now, take a moment, breathe, look around you. There are people who love you, dreams you can still chase, moments waiting to be lived. Don't wait for the right time. Make this time right. You can't change the past, but you can create a future you'll be proud of. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might inspire someone who needs this message today.